Technology is very much part of our lives and is now accessible to almost everyone. As I see it, there are two main benefits of using technology in accounting education. Firstly, technology can help teachers to be more efficient and creative in what they do. Secondly, it can help to engage students in the learning process by turning their mobile devices into learning devices. I introduced the flipped classroom because lectures are soul-destroying for both students and teachers. The lecture tutorial approach may be the most efficient for large courses, but this approach is all about the teacher. The teacher dominates the classroom and initiates and controls the few and brief interactions that are permitted. And the focus tends to be on transmitting content knowledge. I adopted the flip approach in 2011 to create opportunities for students to be more active and independent in their learning, so as to motivate them to engage with the course. With this approach, I deliver lecture content outside class time. Class time is used for students to discuss, work collaboratively, demonstrate their learning, and have significant interactions with their peers and teacher. So class time is not only used to develop content knowledge, but also other learning outcomes, such as oral communication and teamwork skills. These skills are valuable to employers, more so given the changing accounting workplace towards a more diverse, dynamic, and advisory role than before. I use technologies to support the flip approach, to ignite students' interest in the course, and also to develop their content knowledge. I use a combination of podcasts, lecture slides, and readings as pre-class learning resources. Instead of transferring the traditional lectures to an online environment, I create and use podcasts to build a visual step-by-step concept map for students to follow. And I provide audio narration to accompany the podcast. Each podcast is brief, between 10 to 15 minutes long. In class, students work in teams to discuss case problems. To strengthen collaboration within and between teams, I introduce Google Docs in the course. I set up a separate Google Docs account for each team so that students have their own space to discuss and record their team-based tasks in class. Students can collaboratively create and edit documents such as Word or PowerPoint online simultaneously in real time to discuss and solve problems in class. I also direct students to do their weekly team presentations using Google Docs, where they can easily project their work onto the big screen for the class benefit. And I encourage students to use Google Docs outside class to learn from their peers by accessing other teams' recorded discussions to revise and review their understanding of a topic. One of the main issues in using teams is that students do not contribute equally to team activities. This semester, I introduced peer evaluation to address concerns of free riders and also to evaluate team processes. I use an online tool called the Web Peer Assessments, WebPA. This tool can be embedded in the learning management system such as Moodle. It allows students to rate and provide written feedback confidentially on the team members' contributions in team activities. With podcasts, students can get an overview of a topic and the key areas that they need to focus on. They can pause, rewind, and replay at will the podcast. Students appreciate the ability to control the podcast, especially for the high percentage of international students for whom English is not a native language. Above 95% of the students across the semesters agree that the podcasts have helped them learn the course. With Google Docs, students have an additional reason to bring their mobile devices to class. The technology encourages everyone with a device to contribute his or her written responses. It also allows students to share their answers with other teams and access answers from the other teams. About 90% of the students across the semesters agree that Google Docs is useful for their weekly activities in class, and it does promote peer learning. The flip approach encourages students to come prepared to class, so the onus is on them to take charge of their learning. Having appropriate and sufficient pre-class learning resources meant that students are motivated to prepare before class. The results for the quiz, conducted in every class, shows that students achieve a credit to distinction grade average across the semesters, indicating a good level of content knowledge before class. Students are also more confident in their oral communication skills as a result of constantly interacting with their team members and presenting their findings in class. I also believe they have gained a deeper understanding of the topics and teamwork skills. As a result of working in teams to apply theories to case problems in every class, and also on team assignment that covers and integrates topics from weeks 1 to 5.